day, wherever you are. If not, do understand and get that your night life, honey, we went from night to life. Okay. Your night life just get day. Okay. Your night life is day is going to get better once your perception gets better. Ooh, excuse me. Now, I was here and honey, I need to read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles from the Prosperity Bible. Because that's like my last thing on my goal list for tonight, I believe. Wait, let me see, chill. Yeah. So that's my last thing on my goal list for tonight. Is to read The Science of Getting Rich. Ooh, chill. This is what happens when you be waking up. I think this morning I woke up at 6. Normally I wake up like around 5 o'clock. But some days, like when my children are with their father, sometimes I tend to wake up a little late, like 6 o'clock, 6:30 or something like that. Sometimes 7. But when my children is here, is always at 5:30. So I wanted to read this Ordinary into Extraordinary. And I am reading from the book No Excuses, okay, which is a phenomenal read. Brian Tracy is such an amazing person. Like, I have watched his YouTube videos, listen to them, and that's where I got the idea from to write my goals down each and every like night, or I may write them down in the morning. But I stay, even this book is falling apart. I stay with a journal. Okay, so I'm continuously writing my goals down. I tell you guys these things that I do because this what I have seen that help grow my income and improve my life. Not just my life far as like my income going up, but also with my children, right? And I think that like that's the best thing, to have a great relationship with your children, with your family. Now, I'm not saying I'm the mother of the year, okay? All right. But okay, honey, I done came a long way. Okay. Hey Tracy, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you. Hey Lola, peace to you, baby. Hey Steve, peace to you, peace to you. So I'm just gonna read to you guys what this says. Very often you see people who don't seem to be as intelligent or as talented as you are, who are nonetheless accomplishing remarkable things with their lives. There is nothing that will make you angrier than to see someone who seems to be dumber than you doing better than you. How can this be? The answer is simple. At a certain point in their lives, they realized that the key to success was personal and professional growth. It was a dedication to lifelong learning. The good news is that almost every important skill is learnable. Every business skill is learnable. Everyone who is proficient in any area of business was at one time completely ignorant in that area. Every sales skill is learnable. Every top salesperson was once a beginning salesperson and unable to make a call or close a sale. All money making skills are learnable as well. Almost every, listen to this, because when I read stuff like this, it really, really inspires me. Okay. It gets the things in my mind flowing. Okay. I start feeling like, everything is, attainable. I can do all things. Okay. Now, almost every wealthy person was once poor. You can learn anything you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. Now, I want to give you guys some insight on Brian Tracy. Okay. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys know who Brian Tracy is. You could just put a 1 in the chat if you know who Brian Tracy is. If you don't, that's okay. You're going to learn today. Let's see. I'm trying to find his. Okay, Tracy. I'm trying to find his humble beginnings. Very few people start off with many advantages. Personally, I did not graduate from high school. I worked at laboring jobs for several years. I had limited education, limited skills, and a limited future. And then I began asking that question: why are some people more successful than others? This question changed my life. Over the years, I have read thousands of books and articles on the subjects of success and achievements. It seems that the reasons for these accomplishments have been discussed and written about for more than 2,000 years in every conceivable way. One quality that most philosophers, teachers, and experts agree on is the importance of self-discipline. I cannot stress self-discipline enough. Okay. I cannot stress self-discipline enough. Remember how I said every day I write my goals down? It's not something that I look forward to. Even when I'm doing those workouts, okay, it's not something that I look forward to. But one of the things that I remember Jim Rohn, okay, who was the mentor of Tony Robbins, one of the things Jim Rohn said, he said, start with the small disciplines. That way you can do the large disciplines. But if you can't do the small disciplines, you're never going to be able to do the large disciplines. Okay. Tracy, I thought about you earlier today. That's crazy. Well, not crazy. When I was in the kitchen warming my pasta up, I thought about you. All right. So, you want to start with the small disciplines. So for me, okay, what I tend to do is I write my goals down. Now, I make sure right now my next goal is, my book is falling apart. My next goal is to hit 8,000 subs, okay, on YouTube. And to earn a certain amount of money from YouTube, okay? Well, it's not. Well, it go through YouTube, okay? But that's my next goal, right? So what I tend to do is in the morning time, well, at nighttime, I generally write my goals down at night. But some nights, if I feel like, I'm gonna just do it in the morning, I make sure before I leave my house, my goals is written down, okay? One of the things about changing is going to be so much chatter in your mind telling you don't do it, you tired, you got this going on, you got that going on, you don't see results. It's going to be so, because success is a mental thing. It's like 95% mental, okay? And it's going to be so much that is going on in your mind. And you just have to see, like, do you really want it? Right? I tell you guys the same exact story. When I was going to be monetized on YouTube, I was dedicated. Like, I was dedicated on being monetized. I would do like 23 videos a day. Yes, 23 videos a day. Sometimes probably like 15, but majority of the time it was 23 videos. It would be 15 shorts and 3 long form videos. Okay. I was dedicated. I was committed. I wanted to become monetized, and I wanted me and my children's lives to change. Now I still have a lot more work to do, but and this is the phenomenal thing. I want you guys to get this. 1 second. Let me get a drink of water. 1 second. This is the phenomenal thing. Oh, well, Tracy. But that's okay. But this is the phenomenal thing. Okay. Every person that you see successful, right? A lot of them started off poor, like Brian Tracy states. A lot of them mainly started off poor, okay? And what they did was they worked their way up, and they got around people who were successful. They started asking questions like, "Oh, what is it that you do?" Or how are you able to earn whatever, right? How are you able to be the top earner? One of the things, so my son, okay, he worked for Amazon. And I remember when he had first started working for Amazon, and one of the things I would tell him, because just from personal development, okay, me studying, personal development, and a lot of the successful men, mainly men, it's some women, but mainly men, that talks about their businesses, and I never forgot what Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn said this. He said, "You get paid. You really get paid for value that you bring to the company. Yes, you get if you get paid $18 an hour, 20 something dollars, that's just what they feel you're worth. Okay, that they feel that that's your value. Okay." So you get paid for what you bring to the company. So my son, okay, who's 21 years old, I remember when he first started doing Amazon, well, driving the trucks. And one of the things that I had told him, I said, because he would be like, "Oh, I want to finish early and stuff like that." And he was like, "But sometimes you got to help the people." So one of the things I told him, I said, "You get paid for value." Okay. So, and some days they would send some of the people home, okay, because they would be like, they ain't have that many routes and stuff like this. This was before peak season. And one of the things I told him, I said, "Listen, if you want to be picked and called for you to get a route, you have to give value, but help the rest of the people out. Like when you finish your work, help the other guys out, because the dispatchers who has to stay at the job, they have to stay there until you guys finish. Now, if you're a person that's just like pretty much, oh, it's me, they're not going to give you a route most likely like that, like they would give somebody else a route that is willing to help other people, because it's all about self. It's a team, it's teamwork, right? So a few days, right? My son, like they would when my son would get to the job, they would pretty much tell him like, "Oh, there's no more routes and stuff like that." So I told him, I said, "Do this, help the people out. I guarantee you'll get a route, right?" And so he started helping, started getting the routes. Okay. Now they say like he's one of the best drivers. Okay. And I just told him the things that I study. That's it. Okay. One of the things that you have to understand is also money is an idea. Let me say that again. Cause sometimes, you know what? We want to hold on to money so tight. Like money is going out of style. Money, and it's so crazy because they print money every day. Okay. But money is an idea. Okay. The more ideas you can come up with, the more money you will earn. Like in this book, No Excuses, one of the things that I absolutely love, what Brian Tracy says is this. He says, it's so funny. So funny. Cause some people is like, well, I just want to get paid. I just want, them to pay me more money, right? You know how you get paid more money? You get paid more money by being valuable. Yeah, you may be valuable to your family and stuff like that. I'm not saying like you're not valuable. I'm talking about in the marketplace. Okay. If you want to get paid more, you have to be valuable in a marketplace. And that's the reason why I constantly buy the books. I listen to the personal development. Okay. Is because I deserve for my income to go up. And when you see yourself, like when you have like high self-esteem, it's so funny because I remember I used to hear people say like your self-esteem is also a correlation to like your income. And some people may not believe it because I used to be one of those like, no. Right? But when you see yourself a certain way, let me tell you, you're going to do things to increase your income, to have a better lifestyle for you and your family. Oh, where is it? Well, it was one part in here that Brian Tracy talked about. He said, let me see. Oh, form the habit of continuous learning. You can be rich or poor. It's your decision. Your television set can make you rich or poor. If you watch it all the time, it will make you poor. Psychologists have shown that the more television you watch, the lower are your levels of energy and self-esteem. At an unconscious level, you don't like or respect yourself as much if you sit there hours after hours watching television. People who watch too much television also gain weight and become physically unfit from sitting around too much. Your television can also make you rich, but only if you turn it off. When you turn off your television, you free up time that you can then use to invest in becoming a better, smarter, and more competent person. When you leave your television off, when you are with your family, you will find yourself talking, sharing, communicating, and laughing more. When you leave your television off for extended periods of time, you break the habit of watching television and you will hardly miss it at all. Your television can be an excellent servant, but it is a terrible master. The choice is yours. Okay. Now, I'm trying to find this other part. Oh. Oh, it was one part and oh my goodness, it was so good. I gotta start putting those sticky tags like on my like in the books. Cause it was one part that was really good about this guy. Oh my goodness. This guy increased his income like nobody business. I was like, what? Oh, okay. This is for, oh, you're welcome. I don't know if it's Daniela or Danielle. Probably Danielle. All right. So talk about goals. Okay. Select one goal. Once you have written out your 10 goals, imagine for the moment that you can achieve all of your goals on your list. If you want them long enough and hard enough, also imagine that you have a magic wand that you can wave that will enable you to achieve any goal on your list within 24 hours. If you could achieve any one goal on your list within 24 hours, which one would have the greatest positive impact on your life right now? Let me know in the comment section what's some of y'all goals, if you don't mind sharing. Okay, I told you guys one of mine's. Okay, is for me to have 8,000 subs. But I said by the ending of December, okay? And let me tell you another thing, okay? We don't know the dates, right? Like when I write my goals down, I write a date on them. And I don't know the date of when it's going to happen, okay? But if the date is off, then I set another date for it. But I keep on working at that goal. I do not give up on that goal. I keep on striving for that goal. Okay. Now, it's going to be things that may show up when you start setting goals. Okay. You may go through some challenges. But that is not for you to quit. That is not for you to give up. That is not for you to throw in a towel and say, oh, I'm going through this thing in my life, so I'm not going to show up. No. Now, you do that if you want to. But let me tell you something. Whenever I'm going through a challenge, growing through a challenge, one of the things that I tell myself is this. Life is going to keep on lifing. Life is not going to stop just because you have a goal. Life is not going to stop because you have a dream. Life is going to keep on lifing. And it is up to you if you are all in. You know, some people are in until... Oh, that's good, Tracy. Let's go, Tracy. Let's go. Let's go, Tracy. Yeah, life is going to keep on. Life's not going to stop because you have some goals. And that's what I tell myself. Like, Dina, life is going to keep on happening. So when things happen, when things show... Gosh, I'm looking for this part about this guy who income, it went up. I was, you know what? Like a lot of times when I'm so when I get on a bus, let me share this with you guys too. It was one point a few years ago, right? Less procrastination. Loved it. Loved it. Okay, let's go. Let's go. All right, what are we going to do about the procrastination? Because procrastination, it comes from fear. Okay. The reason why we may tend to procrastinate is because of fear. All right. So, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What like is something in your life that you want to do and you're not doing it because it's some fear tied around it. So, when you look at that, that's another reason I tell you guys to get this book because it talks about that too. It talks about fear and how to face fear head on and write down what is the worst case scenario, right? Like one of the things that happened to me, okay? Um, I'm on Section 8, okay? And I remember when I was going around the time for me to be monetized on YouTube. And I remember it was some fear that would come up, right? About me being monetized and then me being self-sufficient. Like it was a little fear that came up because I was like, I don't want to fail. Okay. I don't want to feel um or let me and my children down. That's what really came up. Another thing that came up for me was when I had started doing videos, right? And I want to say probably about a year ago, the fear still was there. One of the things that that's my son family real glimpse. One of the things that showed up was how would I handle people coming up to me, right? Like people that see I was a little afraid of people knowing me. Okay. And I remember it was a few times where as though people who like live in the same area as me and like this one lady I never forgot. She's a crossing guard for like my children's when my children go to school. And I remember one day I was walking and I just dropped my children off to school, my two youngest children off to school. And I had seen her. And she was like, hey, your hair is really nice. I had like a twist out, like a two strand twist or something. And she was like, your hair is really nice. She was like, what is it that you use? So I started telling her, designer essentials and stuff like that. I was using it at that time. Designer essentials. For some reason, for my hair, it does amazing. That and Donna's Recipe. Oh my goodness. Donna's Recipe by Tabitha Brown. So good. Oh my goodness, so good. And I was telling her basically, what I put in my hair and stuff. And she goes, I was like, yeah. I said, when I see you, just let me know how the products do for your hair. And she was like, oh, I'll let you know. I watch you like on Facebook. And I was like, oh, really? And I did a video because I was like, when you guys see me, okay, I'm not, maybe I am being a little fancy, okay. But I was like, when y'all see me, like say hi, say what's up with something, right? And it's so crazy because the mind is gonna tell you all these different things, like, oh, you don't know how these people are and all this other stuff. And let me tell you something, okay? You attract what you are, okay? So if you kind, you loving, you put in positivity out and things like that, you're gonna attract that for the most part. Now it may be some incident, but you attract exactly what you are. Okay. Now I want to get to the guy. Oh, I want to find this guy. So, you know what's scary about this book is this, what Brian Tracy says. 3% factor. it seems that only 3%, you know how low 3%? It seems that only 3% of adults have written goals. That is so low. 3% of adults have written goals and plans. And this 3% earn more than all of the other 97% put together. That is really scary. Why is this? The simplest answer is that if you have clear goals and a plan to achieve it, you therefore have a track to run on every single day. Instead of being sidetracked by distractions and diversions, getting lost or going astray, more and more of your time is focused in a straight line from where you are to where you want to go. This is why people with goals accomplish so much more than people without them. The tragedy is that most people think that they already have goals. But what they really have are hopes and wishes. However, hope is not a strategy for success, and a wish has been defined as a goal with no energy behind it. Goals that are not written down and developed into plans are like bullets without powder, okay, in a cartridge. People with unwritten goals go through life shooting blanks because they think they already have goals. They never engage in the hard, disciplined effort of goal setting. And this is the master skill of success. That alone, okay? That alone, 3%? That's low. And the average person that you ask, like, do you have your goals written? Most people don't. Most people don't. Well, one of the things that I have learned about success is that success definitely leaves clues. Definitely. Because all the successful people, they pretty much say the same thing. Discipline, goal setting, visualization, get a mentor, okay? They talk about the same books. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, what else? The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Like they all talk. That's one of the things. In the Richest Man of Babylon. If I was to ever forget that one, they all talk about the same books. All of them. It's like they have this group. I don't know. Like they attend the same exact thing. Well, normally they do. They live in the same areas most of the time. Attend the same exact, you know, events. Okay, they all talk about the same books. That's one of the things that when I start getting into the personal development space, I start noticing like all the things that successful people talk about, right? The books, the seminars, the audio tapes, all of it was pretty much the same thing. And one of the things that I love about Brian Tracy is he says, if you like personal development is it goes hand in hand with success. Personal development. Not only Brian Tracy says that, but also in the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. In that book, David, the author, he says the same exact thing. That personal development, it goes hand in hand. Okay. Now, I'm trying to look for the guy. Oh, this is it. This is what I was gonna tell you guys. So when I'm on a bus, I absolutely love catching a bus. Okay. I never thought I would be that person that would say that, but I love it. Okay. The reason why I love it so much is so true. It's so true. And I know this may sound cliche, but it's so true. When you do the work on yourself and get to know yourself, you can sit back and observe other people and see why they do what they do. Okay. And half of the time, people not even thinking. Okay. They're not thinking. Okay. And so when I get on a bus, I always have a book. Always have a book. And I'm always observing. Okay. Always observing. And when I'm on a bus and I have my book and I'm reading, oh, it's so many times I want to do videos. I want to do videos, or like I fold the page of the book that I'm reading and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to talk about this when I go live. Well, not when I go live, but when I do videos, like I need to talk about this. So I fold the page and stuff like that so I could bring it back to you guys, what I read. Okay. And this was one of those chapters, okay, that I read when I was on the bus. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. Like it was, you ever felt like you was reading something and you just like wanted to talk to somebody else about it because it's just so good. It's just like that type of book. This is it. Okay, definitely hands down. Brian Tracy did a really good job with this book. But shout out to Peach McIntyre, okay, because she was the one when I took her class, well, took one of her courses or whatever. She was the one who recommended this book. And this was the book towards me being monetized on YouTube. Yes, this was the book. Because I told you guys around that time, if you guys remember, I said, go get a notebook from Dollar Tree or go get any notebook and start, but get a new notebook, okay? And start writing your goals down. And I did it. And I was committed to doing it. And before, in no time, I was monetized on YouTube. It happened so quickly. Once I started focusing on me being monetized and start focusing on what I wanted, as opposed of, looking back, oh, how's the numbers doing on the videos? No, I was like tunnel vision. Okay. That's all I thought about. Every time I turned around, I was picking up my phone to create content. I was cooking, I was creating content. I was eating, I was creating content. Whatever I was doing, I was creating content because I wanted to be monetized the same exact way I wanted to breathe. Okay. And that's how serious it was as far as me being monetized. Okay. Now, I do think that I let up some. Okay, once I became monetized, but I'm putting it back in. I'm putting the work back in. Okay. Now this was the part, okay, that really did it for me. Again, get the book. No Excuses by Brian Tracy. And let me tell you guys something else. You could buy whatever books you want to buy. You could buy thousands of books. It does not matter. If you're not doing the work, the books are useless. Okay? Because the purpose for you to buy the books is for you to read them and then start taking the processes that they have in a book and start implementing it into your life. Now, if you're a person that just want to buy the books and have the dust, the books collect dust, then you can do that too. All right? Right, Tracy. You remember I would go to Trader Joe's and I would do this salad. I would show you guys my salads and stuff that I was eating. Oh, those was so, you know what? Those was really, really fun times. Like it's so true. I remember listening to Abraham Hicks. She was like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Because during those times, like I had so much fun with you guys. I would come live. I would talk about the books at the time that I was reading, which was Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Also, the Prosperity Bible a lot. Those were really the good times. So to the people that's out there, if you like, well, I can't wait till I arrive here, you have the wrong like mindset, so to speak. It's not about you arriving there. It is really, really about the journey. Because I had so much fun with you guys. Like so much fun with you and Miss Harden. And it was a few other people, but you and Miss Harden, like y'all will be there. Okay. And I am so appreciative of you guys. Okay. And the guys that's here, the ones that, the new family members, okay. Now make a decision. Okay. Make a decision. Let's talk about it. Okay. I know. those were some good times. Good times. Okay. Good times. I'm gonna start doing that again. I'm gonna start doing that again because that like my goal, and I guess it was the fun in it, where as though like it started coming, and not only that, I was like really focused on what it was that I wanted. Okay. All right. So make a decision. The starting point of your moving upward and onward towards becoming one of the most competent, most respected, and highest paid people in your field is simple. Make a decision. It is said that every major change in your life comes about when your mind collides with a new idea, and you then make a decision to do something different. You make a decision to complete your education, upgrade skills, or get into a good college. You make a decision to start a new business. You make a decision to take a particular job or start a particular career. You make a decision to invest your money into a particular way, and especially you make a decision to be the best in your field. Many people say that they would like to be happy, healthy, thin, and rich. But as discussed in chapter 4, wishing and hoping are not enough. You have to make a firm decision that you are going to pay any price and go any distance in order to achieve the goals you have set for yourself. You have to make that decision and then burn your mental bridges behind you. From that minute on, you resolve to continue working on yourself and your craft until you reach the top 20% or beyond. Follow the leader. This was the part. Follow the leaders, not the followers. When you decide to be one of the best people in your field, look around you and identify the people who are already at the top. What characteristics do they have in common? How do they plan and organize their days? How do they dress? How do they walk, talk, and behave with other people? What books do they read? How do they spend their spare time? Who do they associate with? What courses have they taken? What audio programs do they listen to in their cars? These are just a few of the questions you should ask in order to find out what successful people are doing that you might also need to do. After all, you can't hit a target that you can't see. Now that came from the one and only. Okay, the one and only Jim Rohn. Not Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. Okay, you can't hit a target that you cannot see. All right. Now, fly with the eagles. Some years ago, one of my seminar participants told me his story. Bob Barton. Said he had started off in his 20s in a large company with about 32 salespeople in his branch. It was his first real job, and he was starting at the bottom. Because he was new, he hung around with the other junior salespeople. As they say, birds of a feather flock together. 1 second, family. My son calling. 1 second. So, getting back to it. All right. Okay. As they say, birds of a feather flock together. After a month or two, Bob noticed that the top salespeople in the office also associated with each other. They did not spend time with the junior salespeople. They also spent their time differently. When Bob got into work in the morning, the top salespeople were already there, planning their days and working on the telephone and making appointments. Bob also noticed that the junior salespeople would come in later, drink coffee, read the newspaper, and make excuses for not making sales calls. Learn from the best. Bob decided he was going to pattern himself after the top salespeople in the office. He looked at the way they dressed and groomed, and he resolved to dress and groom the way they did. Each morning, he would stand in front of his mirror and ask himself, do I look like one of the top salespeople in my office? If the answer was no, he would go back and change his clothes until he felt that he looked as good as the best people. He began to come into the office and organize his day before 8:30 a.m. so that he was ready to make calls as soon as his customers were available to see him. One day, Bob asked one of the top salespeople if he could recommend a book or audio program that would help him. It turns out that top people are always willing to help other people improve. When he got the recommendation, Bob immediately went out and got the book and sent away for the audio program. He read the book and listened to the program and then reported back to the top salesman. The top salesman gave him some more advice on things to read and listen to, all of which Bob followed. Do what the top people do. Bob asked another salesperson how he planned his day, and that salesperson showed Bob his time management system. Now, one of the things I remember listening to Bob Proctor, who worked with Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale, I believe, worked with Napoleon Hill. But one of the things that Earl Nightingale stated was, you can't manage time. You could manage productivity, but you can't manage time. And the way you manage productivity is goals, okay? Or you observe, what do you do throughout the day, right? Are you reading books? Are you listening to audio tapes or listening, not audio tapes, are you listening to podcasts or anything? Is recommended for you to listen to something that is in your field. And one of the things Brian Tracy says, he says, read for the first hour that you are awake, read anything that's pertaining to your field. He says, because that starts the day off for you. And you'll be surprised how smooth your day will go. And so for me in the morning, the first thing I do, I meditate. Okay, I meditate for 20 to 30 minutes. After that, I'm listening to Bob Proctor. Okay, I listen to Bob Proctor probably for about an hour. In between me listening to Bob Proctor, I'm working out. Okay, I'm listening to Bob Proctor, but also I'm coming up with ideas And that's where I start my content from. Okay, so this is what I do. Okay. So let me oh, I'm trying to see. Where was I? Oh, do what the top people do. Bob asked another salesperson how he planned. I know I read this part, but just to recap, okay. Do what the top people do. Bob asked another salesperson how he planned his day, and that salesperson showed him his time management system. So Bob began to plan and organize his day the way the top salespeople did it, by using these top salespeople as his role models and emanating. Okay, you know what I mean. Copying them, okay, whenever possible. Bob started to make more appointments, see more prospects, and make more sales. Within 6 months, he was one of the top salespeople in the office as well. By that time, the top salespeople had invited him for coffee and lunch, and he became one of them rather than one of the junior people. The next year, Bob went to the National Sales Conference where he met a lot of the top people from around the country. He sought them out and asked for their advice. What books would they suggest? What audio programs would they recommend? What seminars had they attended? What strategies did they find that were the most effective in building their sales business? Follow the advice you get. Bob did something that few people ever do. When he received the advice, he followed it. Let me tell you guys a story. I remember I had paid, it's so crazy. I had paid another influencer, right? It was Peach McIntyre. I had paid her so she could go over like my YouTube page and see like, and this was probably, I want to say probably like a year ago. So she could go over my YouTube, or it could have been probably like a year and a half ago. So she could go over my YouTube page and let me know what was I doing wrong, right? Or how, not what I was doing, but how could I improve? And I remember she went over my YouTube page and she had told me, you know, like some of the things that I needed to do in order for my YouTube page to grow more, right? And I remember when she told me that, the ego jumped in so quick. Like, no, I've been doing it this way. This is it. One of the things, when you get a mentor or somebody who has been in that field longer than you, you're gonna have to like push your ego to the side, okay? And it's so crazy because I was like, oh, now this, here it is. This person has like over 800,000 followers on TikTok. I think over 6 something thousand or 5 something thousand on YouTube, 500 and something thousand on YouTube. And there I was like, no, I've been doing it this way. And it's so crazy because a lot of times we say we've been doing things a certain way, but it's because we've been doing those things a certain way while we don't have the results, right? And so I had to like talk to myself like, Dina, you done paid for this girl to look at your page, and now you saying that you've been doing it this way, but you don't have the results that you desire to have. Like, I had to be real honest with myself. Okay. And so what I started doing, I started taking that advice. And then I started also taking like classes, like with Peach McIntyre. I also did something with oh, what is his name? Prince EA. Okay. Oh my goodness. Ooh, child. So Prince EA, he had this mentorship. I didn't do the mentorship, but it was like 4 days of boot camp or something. And I remember I did the boot camp. Let me tell you something. I had a question to ask him, and it was pretty much around like, what about if you making content and it feels like the number is not numbering, or the pay ain't paying, something like that. And I was nervous to say the least, okay, to ask him that. And I faced my fears because Prince EA, he got like over, I think like 1 million and something subscribers on YouTube. And I remember me and my children, we would listen to Prince EA in a car, like when we would be on our way to the beach and stuff. And to have the opportunity to talk to him on a Zoom call, and it was other people on the Zoom call. I wasn't just there by myself, but it was other people on the Zoom call. And I even took a screenshot of it. But it felt so good. My oldest son was here too, and for me to show him, like, look, I got Prince EA is here, right? I'm on a Zoom call with Prince EA, right? It felt so good. So if I could say anything, it would be face your fears. That's one. And then also understand that whatever fear, because fears are learned, okay? You learned that fear from your parents. I remember my mother, she would always say she was scared of heights. And then I sort of adapted to that, adopted that same theory. Oh, I would say that, and then what I did was I started walking a bridge, okay, by my house from New Jersey to New York. I started walking a bridge because that was not my fear, okay? That was my mother fear. And I wanted to overcome that fear. And so what I did was I started doing things that was a little bit wild, okay? Like going on a helicopter ride, walking a bridge. And I started doing things for me to unlearn that fear. So that's another thing. Whatever fear that you have learned, you can also unlearn it. All right. Now, let me just close up with this, okay? Because, honey, I am sleepy to say the least. Okay. Now, Bob did something that very few people ever do. When he received the advice, he followed it. He immediately took action on the advice and then reported back to the people who had given it to him. Within 4 years, Bob became one of the top salespeople in the country. Within 4 years. He became one of the top salespeople in the country. Not in a city, in a country. Within 4 years, one of the top salespeople. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. Okay. His friends and associates were the other top salespeople in his branch and in the other branches. His income had increased several times. He wore beautiful clothes, drove a new car, lived in a lovely home, and had a wonderful wife. And he said that it all came about as a result of asking top people for their input and then following their input and applying it to his sales activities. But here's the kicker. Over and over, the top people, the ones who had been winning the sales awards year after year, told Bob the same thing. Remember what I said about the books? All successful people recommend 9 out of 10 times the same exact books. 9 out of the 10 times they all recommend the same exact books. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. The Magic of Thinking Big by David, I can't pronounce his last name. Okay. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay. What's the other book? The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. A Man's Search for Meaning. I can't think of that author name, but they all recommend the same exact book. So that should tell you something. Like, success leaves clues. It leaves clues. They all, The Richest Man in Babylon, they all recommend the same exact thing. Okay. Now, he was the first person who had ever come up to them and asked them for advice. No one else had ever sought them out and asked them why they were so successful. The answers have all been found. Here's a great discovery. All the answers have been found. All the routes to success have been discovered. Everything that you need to learn to move to the top of your field has already been learned by hundreds and even thousands of other people. And if you ask them for advice, they will give it to you. Successful people will have their phone calls held, canceled, other appointments, and put their work aside to help other people be successful. But you must ask, and then you must follow their advice once they give it to you. If you can't ask them directly, read their books and attend their talks and seminars. Listen to audio programs created by successful people. Sometimes you can send them emails and ask them for advice. Learn from the best. Okay? Really, really good. It goes on and talks. It has like a few stories in here. That's another reason why I love reading the books, especially The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, because in that book it has so many real life events, like with different people that experience everyday life, right? Experience the same exact things that we experience, and have like these, I don't want to say blockages, but have these like belief systems whereas though they feel like whether they can't earn more money, or they feel like they can't be successful, or they feel like they can't be in a happy marriage or relationship. And that's exactly why I love reading these books, because it's personal development, right? And if you want to grow, you have to do the work on yourself. You have to, because they go hand in hand with one another. The better person that you are, the better your life is going to be. If you just work on how could I become a better person and start working towards that, everything in your life is going to be better. But you have to work on it. And I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, because that would be a lie. It's not the easiest and it's not the hardest, but it's doable. Like, you could do this. If you see somebody else, sometimes we look at other people and we like, oh my goodness, how is it that this person is successful? Right? And in the words of Brian Tracy, one of the things he says is they learned the skill. Right? They learned a skill, and they was willing to learn. And so if they were able to do it, you're no different. You are no different. Okay. So books I recommend: No Excuses by Brian Tracy. Ooh. The Prosperity Bible. Okay. And the Prosperity Bible has Think and Grow Rich in there already. So, I mean, if you want to still order the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book, you can. But the Prosperity Bible, it has all of that in there. Okay. The authors that I just named, Napoleon Hill, Benjamin Franklin, James Allen, Wallace Wattles, Ernest Holmes, Florence Shen, and it also have Charles Haanel.
handle. Is it handle or handle? In here as well. So with that being said, I love you guys. I love you, love you, love you. Make sure you're rocking out, believing in yourselves. Make sure you are writing your goals down. Okay, I'm gonna write my goals down as soon as I finish reading this. How Riches Come to You, Chapter 6, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Walders. Okay, and then I write my goals down. I write my goals down like once I complete all the stuff that's on that list that I said I was gonna do, and then I write my goals down for the next day. But until next time, I catch you guys tomorrow. With that being said, peace.